Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments because what I'm about to share will leave you speechless. Have you ever trusted someone so deeply only for them to tear your entire world apart? 5 years ago, I walked down the aisle with a man I believed was my forever. Tall, soft-spoken, loving her, so I thought. We moved into our cozy home in Lagos, Nigeria, and began building our little family. A few months after the wedding, my elder sister, Amaka, called me. She'd just been transferred to a hospital in town and needed a place to stay temporarily. I didn't think twice. "Come stay with us," I said. "You're my sister. This is your home too." She moved in the next weekend. My husband welcomed her with open arms. She was always helpful cooking, cleaning, and even babysitting when I needed help with the kids. At first, I was thankful, grateful even. But now, I regret ever opening that door. Fast forward to a few months ago, I started noticing changes. Amaka began wearing baggy clothes. She avoided eye contact when I asked her anything personal. Then, one afternoon as she stood in the kitchen, I saw it. A clear baby bump. I rushed over, hands shaking. "Amaka, are you pregnant?" She hesitated, then smiled faintly. "Just wait. With time, you'll know." With time? I was confused, hurt, and more than anything angry. I called our mother immediately, hoping she would give me clarity. But Mama only said, "Yes, I know she's pregnant, but she won't say who the father is." So, I waited. I watched. I kept quiet out of respect for her and for peace in my home. But peace doesn't last when you're sleeping beside snakes. Then it happened. One evening, Amaka left for a night shift and forgot her makeup kit on my dresser. I opened it to borrow powder, but something fell out. 2 shiny UK visas. I picked them up slowly, heart pounding. One had Amaka's name. The other my husband's, Nindertain's Lupervox. I felt like my lungs stopped working. Why would my sister have my husband's visa? Why was she hiding it? That night, I said nothing. I couldn't. I just lay awake, staring at the ceiling while he snored beside Mayhe's lies, echoing in every breath. Then came another blow. He had told me he was traveling to South Africa for a work conference in 2 weeks. But the visa papers clearly showed a UK trip scheduled for that exact same time. And Amaka's name was listed as his travel partner. I wanted to scream, but instead, I started digging deeper. What I uncovered shattered the last pieces of my heart. After discovering the UK visas tucked inside Amaka's makeup kit, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the last 3 years in my head. All the smiles, the sisterhood, the love between us. And my husband, the man I cooked for, prayed with, and shared my life with, was quietly building a future with my sister. Under my roof, I started connecting the dots. And suddenly, everything began to make sense. That time, I caught them laughing together in the kitchen, and the laughter stopped the second I walked in. The private whispers behind closed doors. The weird tension when I walked into the living room, unexpectedly. It wasn't paranoia. It was truth knocking on the door I kept ignoring. So I went digging. I logged into my husband's email. Don't ask how I just did. And right there, in his drafts folder, was an unsent email to a UK realtor. The subject line, "Furnished apartment for my partner and unborn child." My hands went numb. I opened it. He said he wanted something quiet, near a hospital, with schools in the area. He mentioned Amaka by name. He said she was due in a few months and needed to settle before the baby arrived. That was it. My world collapsed. Not only had they been sneaking around for 3 years, they were planning to start a new life in the UK. He told me it was just a business trip, but he was leaving me and our kids behind while he went to set up a home with my sister. I broke down on the kitchen floor at 3 a.m., sobbing into a towel so I wouldn't wake the kids. I didn't even know how to breathe anymore. Was I not enough? What kind of woman betrays her own sister like this? What kind of man destroys his own family so selfishly? And the worst part? They were still smiling in my face, pretending like nothing was wrong. I knew I had two choices. One, confront them, explode, burn the whole house down with words. Two, or quietly make my own plans, gather my kids, my documents, their passports, and vanish. I didn't choose immediately. I just stared at them every day, studying their every move, knowing what they thought I didn't know. But a storm was coming, and I was no longer afraid to let it break loose. After I read that draft, email my husband planning a new life with my sister and their unborn child, something inside me snapped. I stopped speaking as much. I stopped trying to keep the peace. But I didn't confront them. Not yet. Number, I wanted to see just how far they would go. So I played dumb. Every morning, I cooked, I smiled, I kissed my kids and packed their lunch. While inside, I was silently gathering evidence. I hired a tech guy to help me retrieve deleted WhatsApp chats from my husband's phone backup. What I found made me sick to my stomach. Amaka had been calling him my love for years. There were photos, late-night voice notes, secret meetups while I was out running errands, and even plans to get married once they settled in the UK. Married. To my husband. In one message, she wrote, "I feel bad for her sometimes, but it's not my fault you chose me." And he replied, "She'll get over it eventually. We'll give her some money when we're settled." Some money? So that's what my entire life had been reduced to? An inconvenience they planned to buy off? I stared at my reflection in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman looking back. But I made a decision right there. I would not cry again. I would not scream. I would not beg. Instead, I would take back my power. I met with a lawyer in secret. We discussed my rights, custody of the kids, property, bank accounts, everything. I opened a private account and began slowly moving funds. I gathered the children's passports, made copies of every document, rented a small furnished apartment in a different city using a fake name. And then I waited for the perfect moment. That moment came on a Saturday. My husband walked in, suitcase in hand, pretending to be rushing for the South Africa trip. Amaka was already dressed, pretending she was heading to a friend's baby shower. But I knew they were going to the airport together. So I did something they never saw coming. I drove them. Yes, I offered to take them to the airport. And they smiled, both of them, nervously. As we drove, I played music. Calm, peaceful. But my mind was screaming. When we got there, I helped them unload their luggage. I even hugged Amaka. "Take care of yourself," I whispered in her ear. And I meant it, because it was the last time she would ever see me again. That night, I packed my children and left that house forever. After driving my husband and sister to the airport, the very people who shattered my world, I did what I never thought I'd have the strength to do. I left. I gathered my kids, my essentials, and my dignity, and I walked away from the house I once called home. The place where love was supposed to grow, but instead, it was poisoned. At first, I felt lost. The nights were the hardest. The silence was deafening. But slowly, I started healing. I focused on my children, my work, and rebuilding my life piece by piece. I surrounded myself with friends who lifted me up and professionals who helped me heal emotionally and legally. The divorce was brutal. My husband and sister fought hard to keep the lies hidden, to protect their plans. But the truth was, on my side of documents, messages, and witnesses backed me up. The court granted me full custody of the children and ordered my husband to pay child support. As for my sister, well, I chose to cut her out of my life completely. Some betrayals are too deep to forgive. Today, I'm stronger, more cautious, more protective of my heart. And I've learned a hard lesson about trust and family. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this. Sometimes the people you love the most can hurt you the deepest, but that doesn't mean your story ends there. You have the power to pick up the pieces and build something new, something better. Thank you for listening. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me, have you ever experienced a betrayal like this? How did you overcome it? Stay strong. Stay hopeful. And remember, you are never alone.